This podcast is part of E2C Network, where we share the whole Auburn experience.
David Housel described it best: we are living the whole of the Auburn experience. You can quantify it and qualify it through a variety of different methods, times, people, places, and things, and even locations, because we're on location for those of you that are watching live and can see that right now. But at its heart and at its core, it is all about its sports, its culture, and of course the Auburn family. Since it's about family, of course, you got to have family members here. We are in the family household of one, I shouldn't say household, I should say the on-location studio of one Mr. Austin Scott, my co-host, the best co-host in the land. Welcome back.
Thank you. Well, welcome to you, sir. Welcome to you into the makeshift podcast studio, the household. Second time we've done this.
Second time we've done this.
I like it. It makes it efficient for you and I both.
Yeah.
We get our Sunday night, and glad to have you here after a busy weekend.
Boy, folks, I will just tell you this much. I always love coming to Auburn, so don't ever hear me complain when I say this, but Auburn just wears me out in good ways. I slept so hard last night and for so long, and I very much needed it because of all the things that we've got to discuss. One of the problems that we had with trying to figure out what to do with today's episode was how to keep the positive vibes going in some ways,
yes,
but also like what to focus on, because we pretty much could have done a show just all Auburn potpourri, because there's so much to talk about. So you might even hear us in different segments, like scattering around everywhere to different things. With that in mind, Auburn potpourri. Let's start it off. I'm going to throw you a monkey wrench because I thought of something we didn't discuss pre-show.
Here we go.
Have you ever done War Eagle Run Fest? Have you ever heard about it? Or
I like that. I like that monkey wrench. No, I have not. I'm fully aware of it. I saw some friends that were a part of it today. I'm a terrible runner.
I am too.
I hate running. I despise it. But I saw a lot of people power walk or walk it. I think that would be a fun thing to do one day. But yeah, it looked like you finished on the 50, right?
That's my understanding. I should, and I had planned, again, this weekend was just jam-packed with stuff. I had planned to do some more things around to promote that. Yeah. I've got a picture I meant to send out. It just never worked out because, like I said, I'm pooped, guys. But War Eagle Run Fest is a thing that they've been doing almost annually. I think it's annually as of late. And I always describe it as a 5K. I'm sure it's longer than that or something like that, for people to run through Auburn, around Auburn, finish at the 50 type of thing. And if you are a runner, you need to check it out. It looked like a really fun event because they had festivities yesterday, which blocked off some of the parking decks. So if you weren't me and getting to the parking deck at 5 a.m, you didn't get up there to watch the baseball game with your car like I did. So I felt like I had the whole parking deck.
That's
to
nice.
myself at one point.
It is. It's a big event. People travel in from out of town. I really don't know what. I wish I knew more about it and what it kind of has come about for. Right. But it always seems like a fun event. One of those, I think people are always trying to find a way. Can we get into the stadium when we're not supposed to? Even though you're supposed to here.
Do you know about a certain account that does some things on social media about getting into certain stadiums?
I did see that.
You saw that? We need to talk about that on another show.
We should. I've become more. That's been popping up on my feed more and more.
Okay, I thought it might.
Algorithm's been finding me.
We will discuss that on another show. See, I told y'all we're going to bounce around to a bunch of stuff today. Moving along in potpourri, let's give a shout out to softball, which continues to battle the elements even in Mexico. It follows them from here all the way down to Mexico in a big, I guess do you call it a showcase? Was it a tournament of sorts?
I call it a showcase. I'll tell you why, though. The weather followed them because they had us matched up against playing Clemson again.
And listen,
we don't need another matchup against Clemson. And so Mother Nature did her thing. And
exactly.
Happened this.
It's that Mother Nature listened to the show where we lamented about playing Clemson. You said, you know what? I'm going to give Austin and Kyle what they want at the expense of not having that game played. Which, that's 3 postponed now or canceled altogether?
Yeah, I guess one. Yeah, I think that's 3. And in a shortened season, in a weekend.
Yeah, that's what it feels like, at least. I mean, it's a little bit frustrating.
The whole season is probably going to be as hectic as that.
This feels like a good time to make our pitch to the Auburn Athletics Facilities Group to use that old indoor facility to turn into a softball indoor field, baseball. And no, I'm just kidding. We just got started with some new renovations, which we're going to talk about. But, I'm just saying, if we're having problems, that's a big old indoor facility.
Might be time to look at things.
I'd like to hear, some softballs clanging off the top of that roof in there.
You have to play the wall at baseball. You
play the wall, Austin. That's brilliant. Play the wall. I love that. By the way, random thought. Have you ever played extreme ping pong?
Extreme ping? I don't think so.
Extreme ping pong is exactly what it sounds like. It goes off the table. Basically, if the ball stops moving, that's the point for the other person.
So you can hit the ground.
You start on the table, and then you just start playing wherever it goes.
Oh my!
When I tell you that it went out into the middle of the street, I'm not joking. Like in traffic.
Goodness.
In traffic. I was in
college.
college.
Did not advise kids.
Did not advise that. I was in college. I was stupid. You do the math there.
Was this at the BCM?
This is at the BCM. So I said you do the math there.
Surprise me.
There are many nights where you're like, hey, man, we're really delirious from studying. What are we going to do? Play extreme ping pong. Good times. All right. We got to talk about this. And we actually probably should have started with this. That's my fault. Bad news turned good news.
Yes.
Jalen Williams. If you didn't know, he got a bad injury, at least what it looked like during the middle of the game. And you could hear the collective air being let out of the Auburn, not just arena, Neville Arena, the town, the Nev, and everything else. Jalen Williams getting hurt just literally sent a shockwave through everybody. And for the basketball team, for him personally, of course.
Yeah.
I was so worried.
My reconstructed ACL was tingling.
Wait, you have a reconstruction?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't. So that's why you don't run.
Well, sure. That's what
you should have led with. That's what you should have led with.
We'll go with that. Yeah, I tore it 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago.
So you can attest to knee injuries are bad.
Yeah. Oh, I wouldn't wish it on anyone. It was the worst. And I'm not a collegiate athlete or anywhere close to an athlete at this point. But I think that's when you hear knee injury and you see someone not able to put pressure on their knee getting off the playing surface. That's everyone's biggest concern. And meniscus was being thrown around.
Pivot. I didn't like when I heard the word pivot from Bruce.
Yep.
Knee pivot. I did not like that combination.
I was shocked this morning when news came out that MRI looked good. Mm-hmm. He's not going to need surgery. Going to miss some time.
Yeah.
But
rightfully so.
It looks like likely he will be back at some point this year, whether it be in the tournament or what. So, yeah, I mean, the best possible news you can ask for after an injury like that. Mm-hmm. Not sure how a foul wasn't called on that specific play. I think you could bring up a lot of plays, probably on both sides throughout the night. But
yeah, both ways, and that's what I tried to express in the post-game stream.
Definitely.
It was some questionable decisions being made about not calls and non-calls on both sides, but especially that play alone. I was thrilled when I woke up this morning and saw that Jalen himself had posted, "I'm going to be okay."
Yeah.
Now, obviously, when you read that, you don't want to immediately think that everything's perfectly fine.
Right.
He just injured his knee. He needs to take it easy. We're going to let the coaches and obviously make the determinations of how long he plays and stuff. But folks, I mean, I couldn't have woken up to better news because I love me some J-Will, man.
I know. That's your guy.
I got a little bit choked up when I saw the reality of what was taking place. And I'm going to be honest with you, Austin. I don't know if it was this I told you to, or if it was Clint, because I talked to both of you after the game. I thought just before the game, you know what? We haven't had a bad injury yet.
No.
So, folks, you can blame me. I will take that hit, and I apologize to J-Will for even thinking that. Even though I wasn't thinking about him.
Yeah.
I'm also going to say something that may get me in trouble here too, and may play favorites a little bit. Well, don't worry. When I say this, don't listen to the.
Yeah. You told this to me.
Did I tell you this?
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe we'll see. I think that was probably the worst case scenario.
Yes, that is
when I say that, I do not ignore that Janai is the heart and soul in terms of the star player, and maybe not heart and soul, but he's the star player, and that would be in terms of a team production the worst possible thing that could have happened. I don't negate if it's anybody, if it was Leor, if it was anybody who's in the game, regardless on the team. But to me, Jalen getting hurt was the absolute worst scenario that could have happened.
That'd be the all-time winningest Auburn player's career being over.
Yes, it does. It doesn't mean that the team is immediately terrible,
right?
But it does take the heart and soul of the team, like you said.
It's a tough pill to swallow. Thankfully, it's not. His career's not over. It looks like he will be back at some point this year. So yeah, best news possible.
Oh, man, I woke up this morning and I was like, you know what? Maybe we can have something after all.
Maybe.
maybe we, because that's all I called Austin and I just said, can't have nothing. That's it. And thankfully we can have something. Jalen seems to be okay. We'll be watching to see how he progresses over this week. Thankfully an off week and much needed after what happened in the game.
Yes.
Notice we didn't talk about that yet, if we even get there. But those are some of the Auburn potpourri items. We want to move into the rest of the show. We've got big 2 segments coming up for you. First, we're going to talk about the Auburn. Well, we'll do the basketball fun stuff first. College game day, all the things around that, and Pearlville, whatever you want to call it. And then a little bit of Auburn baseball opening weekend. What's new? But first, we got to talk about our friends at Magic Mind. You guys have heard me talk about them a lot lately. You need energy, right, Austin?
Always with 2 twin boys. Always.
I was about to say you need a double.
Stops.
You need a double dose of that, and because we all need energy and we all need focus, I'm telling you, go check out our friends at Magic Mind. You've got a lot of other energy alternatives out there, energy shot drinks and things of that nature. But this one is a lot more healthy for you. It's got none of the bad stuff that comes with that and tends to exacerbate some other issues if you've got that. Our friends at magicmind.com/Auburn is where you want to visit. You can get, with our code Auburn, AUBURN, 56% off of a subscription or 20% off a one-time purchase. Where I talked a lot about me personally use it. And you know me, I'm not a green person. I don't like, let's just be honest. I would rather eat all the junk food and stuff like that. But I'm always looking for ways to do better, especially in things such as energy drinks or things like that. I've talked about seeing that green drink before. And I was like, I don't know how this is going to be, but it's got a sweet taste. And I'm telling you, I can definitely tell that I feel a lot better using that as opposed to some other things. So visit them at magicmind.com/Auburn. Use our code Auburn for 56% off for that subscription, 20% off a one-time purchase. Let's talk about good stuff, Austin.
Good stuff.
Not bad things, not things that happen on the court that are not cool, that are frustrating, that made us all lament about the up and down nature of the last couple of weeks of Auburn baseball. Let's talk about the good stuff here. And there is more of it than I think we tend to think about after the loss. College game day, and maybe we start there. The big debate: Pearlville or Jungle Village?
It depends on who you ask.
It is.
Auburn head coach Bruce Pearl says Jungle Village, which he doesn't want it to be about him. I
understand that.
I think back when we started discussing this, was it how long has this been? 3 years? Was this 2 years?
This would be the third one. So yeah, I guess 3 years.
It was naturally started as Pearlville.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of what came of on its own and organically. I think he's been campaigning for Jungle Village ever since. I lean Pearlville. I really like Pearlville. It kind of rolls better.
Can I be honest? I do too.
Yeah.
If it's my personal choice, I want Pearlville.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the problem, though. I am a simp for Auburn stuff.
Yep.
And so I will tend to toe the company line. I fully acknowledge that. And so if one Bruce Pearl tells me it's Jungle Village, I tend to go with that.
That's right.
When I say toe the company, it makes me sound like I work for them. I do not, full disclosure. But by proxy, I try to toe that company line. That was the big debate all week. And it really kicked up a notch. The amount of people on social media in person that I had correcting me was surprising, to be honest with you, because it was Pearlville to start with, right?
It was. Year 2 is when the push became it's Jungle Village. It seemed, I don't know if you agree, but it seemed like there was just a big pushback against to call it Pearlville once again this year.
Yeah, which I don't quite get. I mean, the head basketball coach says he doesn't want it as Pearlville. You kind of, I kind of get what his point of view is. If that's not what he wants, then, but if it's naturally happening to be Pearlville, BP might have to let it ride. I appreciate the humility in it.
Absolutely.
I think, unfortunately, what Bruce is going to have to deal with in his humility response to this is that court's going to be named for him at some point. He's going to probably have a statue somewhere down the line. It's more of an honor thing that I think the people want to give him more than anything else.
I think about at Duke, it's Krzyzewskiville.
Yeah.
Or I don't know if they're still calling it that.
Man, you did much better with the name than I would have.
I really thought about it really hard for
I heard
a
the
few
struggle there, but you
seconds.
got it out.
I was
so-
like, I'm gonna just go for it. And so I think that's probably where Pearlville came from. It was let's look at the other examples and see. And so, I think Bruce would definitely tell you he's not Coach K. He doesn't want. But to Auburn at this point, with the years of torture that have been Auburn basketball at times, he might as well be. So I think Pearlville is okay, but I think he's probably going to keep pushing Jungle Village.
We'll let the debate continue because it really doesn't matter. It was just an interesting thing I saw pop up around it. You didn't happen to visit it at all?
Not this year. Was it last year? I think it was last year I delivered donuts, maybe 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But I did not get out there this year. I certainly had ample opportunity since they started Wednesday.
Yeah. That was incredible that literally some people left the South Carolina game and went and set up their tents in the line. It's
wow.
Commitment.
Yes.
The commitment of these students, even with some of the results that we don't necessarily like, it continues to shock me. And the production by the people that are putting it on, Rhett Hobart, his team, and I keep Paris Buchanan, I think, is part of that. I'm going to miss some names, so I'm sorry. Continues to be top notch, and they continue to outdo themselves. I don't remember space heaters last year. Do you? I could be wrong.
I think so. I think they were there. That's something I was telling Emily is the whole production of it. Every year, that's what's gotten better. The first year, I think we all remember there was a lot of trash and a lot of just, it was a little bit.
It was literally
There was kind of anarchy out there. It was literally whatever happens. And they weren't prepared for it because no one knew it would turn into all this. Every year, it's gotten a little bit better. And you mentioned Rhett, who feels like we mentioned once a week on the show.
You're welcome.
That we are big fans of. They continue to do a great job, and they were prepared for this with activities and food and heaters set up. It was a cold week, and so I think that's the best part about Jungle Village, Pearlville, City, whatever you want to call it. That has gotten better. Throughout the years.
So the weather cooperated this year. A little bit of, I think, misting, but 1 year it was freezing. The other, it was rainy.
Oh gosh.
This year it held up. So there was less of the issues there. The space heaters were provided. The activities were top notch. Again, a credit to the students for not only continuing to do this, but show up. It went down that walkway leading to, help me. What is the road? Wire Road, I guess, technically, that comes around to Sanford, not Sanford.
That'd be
the wraparound around the dorms.
Yes.
I know.
That's Magnolia.
It at least becomes Magnolia. It goes down there and then came back around in a almost circle to the other side of the tents. I did a full walkthrough during the daytime. If y'all haven't seen the video,
it's a long way.
Go check it out. It took me 5 minutes, more than 5 minutes, to walk the whole thing. So credit to you guys. We just got done talking about how well the event has been put on by the staff, how well the students have responded. But can I make one small, not complaint, but thing that I miss about the first year?
Sure. The
sheer chaos of it. Like, I kind of miss that there was some unorganization and there was like a fever pitch there. It was exciting, but yet a chill vibe this year.
Yeah, it's contained. I noticed that in our video and as well as ESPN with Jay Bills, but it's all down the concourse in a nice, neat line.
More organization,
and that's for the better.
It is. There are some things that I saw that first year I would never unsee.
I don't think anyone will. But that part of it was what kind of grew it and blew the attention out was how crazy it was.
Yeah.
So I think it's been good, and this is the 4th straight year College Game Day has come.
Yes,
to Auburn. That's one of only 3 programs in America.
Man, it's incredible.
And so that's kind of how this keeps happening. Is the game day. You got to get up early and be there.
Yep.
And so people decide, I'm going to start 3 days before.
Now it's 3 days. It used to be like, I remember when it organically began on a Friday that first time, and now it's moved to Wednesday before. It's just incredible. It's great that you brought up game day. It's one other great thing we wanted to talk about. The 4th time they've been here, 3 in a row, technically, because of the missed COVID year. So,
true.
It was weird when somebody says it's 4 years in a row. It technically isn't, but it kind of is because they didn't do one. Yeah, y'all argue that if y'all want to. I don't care. But happened again. I got to go for the first time this year.
Oh, yeah?
And
I didn't realize you hadn't been to the other ones.
No, because most times it led right into the game or close to it.
You're right.
Thus, you had to have a ticket for it to get in. And this year they were able to let everybody in, including the students, to go in early, and they had a system to give them their access back into it. We won't go into the details here.
My goodness, what a thought process.
It seemed to work pretty well.
That's good. I was interested in that.
Although I thought for sure the students would take the opportunity once it was done to go home and go to bed for a few hours. They went right back into the line. The tents are already up.
They can't help themselves.
They can't. I mean, literally, they were running to get back into line. And they had again, we won't go into the details of it, a way to keep you basically in your same spot. But there was still some, give and take.
It sounded convoluted, but I'm glad that I didn't have to deal with that.
It was so much fun, guys. I think I would like to have seen a bigger show out from the general public fans. And it's the first time that it's been available to do that at Auburn, in my knowledge. So if you can come out to it next time, because trust me, there will be a next time with Outlive, with Bruce knowing these guys so well, with the way they see the students respond. So just because we lost the game doesn't mean it won't happen again. Aubie made a 3-pointer.
I did see that.
And
impressive.
Sign him up is what I'm saying.
Yeah, that would be the fourth one made by the team all day yesterday.
Wow, you said it, not me. We said we were going to talk about bad things.
Oh, well, Aubie made a 3-pointer.
Aubie made a 3-pointer. Some little kid made a 3-pointer. That's about all that made a 3-pointer.
Yeah.
I had a great response.
No half-court shots were made.
No half-court shots were made.
I think those were the worst half-court shot attempts I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say that.
It was no offense, student, if you're seeing this, but
I'm very sorry.
We expected more out of you.
Get in the wreck.
And get in the wreck. Hashtag get in the wreck, sir. It was a fun time. Even Reese Davis, as big a Bama fan as he is on game day set, he again was very gracious at the end and did a personal, I'm coming up to the students and and thanked everybody.
Now you were there.
Yes.
And so you don't know this.
Oh no.
But I was watching on television. And for about the first 30 seconds, 45 seconds, a minute of the next program, which was the Alabama game, we could hear that.
Oh, really?
Reese Davis saying, Auburn is awesome. Thank you so much. As we're tuning into the Alabama
Could you hear the exploding of the Alabama fan base of their boy complimenting us?
Yes, I'm sure. It was, they weren't at the game, so it had to have been at home.
Wow.
But
he's just taking shots completely.
Yeah, I thought that was cool. I saw you post about that, and then I was like, well, we actually still heard that as they were introing the game. But that's awesome for him, and I think that even proves more what you said. They're coming back. They know what this kind of content is for them, but also the kind of output they're going to get as well.
And I know what you're all wondering. Yes, we swag surfed while we were in there. And I'm sorry, Dalton Odom. Mike Mann, I know if you've seen him lately, he's been on a little bit of a campaign of might be time to retire that. I don't know that the students are going to let that happen anytime soon. So great things in Auburn basketball. Obviously, we didn't focus too much on the bad things. Hopefully we will get to talk about it again next year, whether it's Pearlville, whether it's Jungle Village, or a combination of whatever people want to create. And obviously we'll be talking about College Game Day again in the future. Auburn baseball opening weekend.
It's here.
It is here. And guess what, folks? It's cold. It was
cold.
Very, very chilly. I will admit, Austin, that I was there for most of all the games this week, and I made a quick pop into game 3 today just for some scheduling reasons. I wore shorts on the first day.
Goodness.
On the first day.
Okay. Yeah. You learned.
I did learn.
That's the important thing.
But
that you corrected yourself.
Here's the ironic thing. The weather pulling up on Friday afternoon was not terrible. Like it was with the wind going a little chilly, but it was kind of nice. It wasn't too bad of baseball weather.
Yeah.
The next day, though, for everybody who came out, let me just tell you, you are a trooper. You are amazing because it was cold. And I'm not even just talking about the bats of EKU. I'm talking about the weather.
Nicely done.
I get a good shot every once in a while. Obviously, we want to spend some time talking about what's new and not necessarily focusing on the baseball team itself, because I was there, I can speak to that, but just maybe some quick thoughts about opening weekend, what you saw of the team and stuff like that, because we at least want to acknowledge that.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, we talked about last week in our preview, the pitching staff. We thought Chase Allsup would be the number one guy. Looks like he is the Friday night guy so far. Then you followed up with Joseph Gonzalez, his first start in 364 days, did fantastic. Really great to see him get back on the mound. And then today was Carson Myers, who might have had the best day of any of them.
I think he did.
The UAB transfer. A lot of people were wondering why that wasn't Zach Herbert's I went with that one. I probably didn't get that one right.
I think you did.
Okay, I'm feeling good about it.
Your pronunciation skills have been outstanding this week.
I'm feeling good about it.
Didn't I give you crap last show for like mispronouncing something?
Probably.
I probably did. So I want to public acknowledgement. He's doing good.
I'm getting better. Getting better a little bit every day. But that pitching staff is really what I wanted to see, and they did great. I was really impressed with Carson Myers today. So yeah, I mean, I'm excited about that staff. Now, is it Eastern Kentucky? Yes. Is it the first weekend of the season? Yes. Those are positive things you want to see, though. We have to give a special shout out to Zach Crossfelt. Got an inning, and he did a fantastic job. Great to see that whole pitching staff, starters, relievers, everybody seems game ready. So it's exciting.
We say that. I'm just going to pull the curtain back because his mom's here. So thanks always for being a great fan of this show. But we love Zach regardless.
Absolutely.
And let me expound that? Not just Zach, but I'm not going to act like I'm some great baseball analyst, but I was really appreciative of the pitching staff altogether. Again, it's EKU. Right. I acknowledge that, but I felt like everybody that came in did pretty solid work. And even when they had some struggles, we had some good defense to back them up. So in an opening weekend where there's still jitters, there's cold weather and stuff like that, I thought they did a wonderful job in terms of having a good foot forward production wise on the field.
Oh, absolutely. The preparation showed, and they put out great numbers. The hitting was impressive too. The usual suspects were there. Ike Irish was doing his thing.
I've never heard of him.
Oh, never heard of him?
No.
The luck of the Irish.
Never heard of him before.
Ike Irish had a great game.
We had a triple, a home run, and a triple back to back to back.
Chris Stanfield is already losing his helmet. We love that. Losing his hat as well.
Did you know that there's a charity can donate to how many times he loses his hat?
Every time he loses his hat, you get $3 goes to a charity.
That's amazing.
I think he's up to 4 or 5 already.
I mean, he knew what he was getting into.
That's smart. That's smart right there.
Some good marketing too. So good production on the field to start with. What I want to focus on is what's new, kind of what I saw there. Austin wasn't able to go this weekend, but I was able to be there and kind of see some things. First things I want to point out, though, I was not aware that the construction for the additions to the right field line had already started. Now, the Hall of Fame Club is open.
Yes.
They had Frank Thomas out, and he was able to, cut the ribbon, so to speak, with the mayor and Butch Thompson. By the way, have you watched that interview?
Yes, with Frank.
With Frank, but also with Butch saying some few words at the opening. I'm stealing somebody else's line from social media. I would run through a wall for that man right now. Like that wall right there. It's actually a window. I'll just run out of it if he asked me to, because I would go to bat. You see what I did? I would go to bat for Butch Thompson any day of the week. So they opened up the Hall of Fame Club. That's the start of the new renovations. But so you knew that the construction already started?
I did. Emily and I were coming back from. Now we don't go right through the heart of downtown too much,
right?
Or through the heart of Donahue on campus too much. But we were coming back from the Goose Theater on Wednesday.
Goose.
We saw To Kill a Mockingbird. Side note, fantastic. The Goose Center. We need to talk about that one.
Oh, trust me, we will do that.
They've really come on, and it's a good addition to Auburn and the city and so. Anyway, we're coming through, and the basketball game was ending, but I did not realize that we were going to go home all the way down Donahue, and I didn't realize we couldn't go past the Plainsman Park right there. So they were diverting us through Beard Eve's parking lot. So that was my first time realizing that they're putting in a bunch of work and getting things going for all that area.
It's toe up from the floor up.
It's a mess.
So basically all that's there is the walkway behind the seats, and that's it. Like that concessions area is gone because they've got to start. And as much as I don't like that there's construction going on during the season,
I understand it.
I'm trying to think about timeline of things and how much construction is going to have to go into that, and it makes sense why. So does it look a little ugly from the outside? Sure. But what's coming is so much better.
It's going to look incredible.
It's absolutely going to look incredible.
Quick note before you go to the deck, I think the Hall of Fame Club. Did you realize that to get a seat and sit behind home plate, and I'm almost positive I understand this correctly, to get a seat and sit behind home plate and go through the Hall of Fame Club for this weekend series and for the midweeks is $40, including food and drink?
That's it?
Only $40.
Why didn't I do that?
I don't know.
What?
Like for UAB's game Tuesday
Austin,
night, you
these
could
are-
go sit. I found out this weekend.
This is the things that I need to know because I would totally have done that.
We're
for
going to do that.
for research purposes.
You can go sit behind home plate on Tuesday night to watch them play UAB and have complimentary food and drink for $40.
How well do you think it goes when I tell the wife that I spent that money for research purposes?
Probably not well.
Those are conversations that she's like, "What did what did you spend the money on today?" I'm like, "Well, it was for research, so it didn't really matter."
Wouldn't you have thought it'd be more though?
Honestly, I mean,
For non-conference weekends, it's 65, and then once SEC play hits, we hit 80,
right.
which is about what I would have spent. But $40, including food and drink.
go do it now. What are you doing? Go check it out. So if I had known that, I would have totally. I apologize to everybody for not doing the research that y'all expect here on the show, but in the future. So I do want to talk about the deck.
I can't wait to hear you talk about it.
So I walked up on it this weekend and I saw construction. It was Friday lunchtime. And I was like, oh, well, they did this kind of quick. Maybe they're not going to have it open this weekend. But as I'm walking past just to get some shots of the construction going on, I noticed they're working really fast, like breakneck speed. Like people are like frantic over there. And so I just go up and ask somebody casually, is this opening tonight? And he said, yeah, we're almost done. And I said, you're kidding, right? No, we've got some things that have got to be finished after this weekend, but we can open this. So come back. And I said, yes, I will. It came back before the first game. And boy, I think it had just opened up. So I took a video you guys can see on social media of me walking up there. I'm going to be honest with you. I love watching from the parking deck. It's one of my favorite things. It's free, but I'm kind of tempted to go out there into that outfield patio where the students and general public, provided their space up there, can go watch for free. It's a great view.
I was really, because the first pictures we saw when we first discussed it on the show, I was thinking it was very minimal, very just wood. It's just a platform view. The video you put out put it into perspective of that thing is really nice,
right?
And it's going to be great for students. I can't wait to check it out. But
it's
now, Kyle, is it what we thought? Can you go under and on top, or is it just on top?
Just on top.
Okay.
And I thought more about our conversation after that. I didn't know safety-wise how they could pull that off.
Sure.
You probably will lose a little bit of the capacity that you could have had back there by doing it this way, but the experience is so much better.
Yeah.
You actually can now see the full vicinity of the field and not just the outfield and look like through the legs of the infielders to see the batting. Like you can see everything and you can catch a home run.
Yeah.
Because we know Ike Irish is going to be doing that. We know Cooper McMurray, Christian Hall, new name this year. At least
Bat Bobby.
How did I forget him again? Why do you continue to let me on the show not giving Big Bat Bobby? No, not Big Bat Bobby.
I think that I have oversight here with Big Bat Bobby, seeing as you keep forgetting him.
It's Bobby Barrels.
Keep saying Big Bat Bobby.
I will continue to
scream. You go at it with Clint.
I will, and Clint knows the reason why that it's Bobby Barrels. But if you guys are not interested in being out there with the rowdiness that comes with that, I understand. But go check it out. It is a great job for such a quick project that's been brought up. Absolutely outstanding. Smoke effects too, coming from the scoreboard.
Impressive.
That seems to be the theme with a lot of the events this year. Where can we put lights, smokes, and not smokes, smoke effects? I think too they messed with the lighting a little bit too,
like the overhead lights.
Yeah, there's the whole light show effect they can do, but I think there was something about the poles too that looked like there was some additional lighting on it that I'm not sure about. So in terms of, again, we give credit to Red Hobart, his team, everybody else for the fan experience part of this. Continues to outdo themselves. And whether we're talking about on the field stuff, we're talking about construction, patios, this is the Auburn Experience podcast. The experience is only getting better and better.
Big and small. I saw him respond to one of your fellow parking deck viewers, and said, "Hey, the white score on the gray box for the video board from the parking deck is kind of hard to see." He was like, "We'll get it fixed."
Yeah.
I think that should be appreciated.
And I did notice that now that you're saying that, so I'm glad that you brought that up. So it's not one of those things that they're so high above everybody else that they can't take criticism or constructive. Like, hey, we need this fixed. That's what they're about.
Yep.
That's their job, and they're doing a bang up job about it. So I had a great opening weekend, performance wise, experience wise. Y'all need to get out to Plainsman Park this year. And I will just say this: if anybody wants to come join me on the third level of the parking deck. I will always be there
Lose your spot.
when I'm in town.
Start
But
advertising your spot. And it's gonna get
I just said
crowded
the
up there.
third deck. I didn't say where.
Well.
There's a certain spot that I will fight over. And I may do particular things to keep people from getting that spot. But that's where I'll be when I'm in town for baseball games. So hopefully Austin can come join me for one or something at some point this season. You know what we'll do? We'll bring the pool to the outfield patio.
Bring the pool.
And
Did you gauge? Would you have a good launch? Is there a nice enough height?
You have too much of a launch point.
Oh boy!
So I don't know that.
How high is it? Seriously speaking, if you had to guess,
I would say it's about at its highest point 8 feet off the ground.
So you're the top of the wall, outfield wall. And I know we're going long here.
That's
Top of
fine.
the outfield wall, your chest, or you're standing on the deck.
The outfield wall is probably 7 feet. The upper part of, because it's 2 levels, the patio is probably 8 feet.
Okay.
And I'm probably way off, but just, the further back you stand, that second level, you have the higher vantage point because they want more people to be able to see.
So some guy, you could jump off and make a
And
big splash.
with the activities that happen out there, it may not be the best idea.
You could make some splashes based on how long
you could make
out there,
some
how much
splats
you've consumed.
Yes, we'll leave it at that. So, great opening weekend experience and performance on the field, and I can't wait to get back here. That's going to do it for episode 67 here on the Auburn Experience podcast. You can find me on social media, specifically X at Kyle Loomis 24. So they can find me.
Yeah, at Austin G. Scott. Looking forward to a long and busy spring season.
Very excited for it. Thank you all for tuning in. Until we talk to you again. War Eagle.